NewYorkTimes.com. How to Create a Serene Home by Tim McCall, Yasu and Junko, prop styling by Livia Setti. A home should be a refuge, a calm and inviting place to work, play and unwind. This has become especially true during the pandemic, when many of us are spending more time indoors, but all too often it falls short of that ideal. The clutter piles up, the sofa gets stained, the lighting seems cold, the paint colors aren't quite what we expected, and the accessories don't work together to form a cohesive whole. By following a few simple steps, however, it's possible to calm the chaos, take control, and make any house or apartment a more welcoming home. Take back control. A home that's a mess will never seem serene. Set goals. You may need to bring in some new items to make your home more controlled, but before that step begins, it's important to deal with what you already have. Prior to starting a purge, set goals for what you want to achieve. People have varying ambitions for their homes and differences in taste. You might desire a Zen-inspired retreat, a gallery-like interior that showcases an art collection, or a pillowy palace full of soft surfaces. Each of these goals will require different types of objects in different quantities. If you have a partner or roommates, you will also need to work out these goals with them before you proceed. If you strongly disagree, think compromise. The first step of organizing has nothing to do with stuff, said Laura Catano, a professional organizer in New York. It's about clarifying who you are and how you want to live. Consider whether you prefer spaces that feel invigorating or calming, she said, as well as the specific activities you want your home to support, such as cooking, exercising, writing, entertaining, reading, or playing board games. Look back at spaces that made you feel unhappy and ones that made you feel happy, said Claudia, an interior designer in New York who focuses on designing serene spaces, and try to understand why they did. If, for instance, your parents' collection of antique Chippendale furniture made you squirm, but a minimalist Japanese hotel made you feel immediately relaxed, those things should inform your design decisions. You have to filter out stale ideas that your mother or aunt gave you about how you should live or what you should have in your space. Claudia said, does it have to do with you or not? Edit with ease. Editing belongings and removing clutter from a home is easier said than done. Indeed, it can seem so overwhelming that some people simply put it off forever. People get stuck, Miss Catano said, but the trick to moving forward, she said, is to relieve yourself of the pressure of making a decision to keep, recycle, or throw away every single object in your home. Instead, start by eliminating the things you already know you don't need or want. Always do the easiest things first, she said, noting that most people have piles of old clothing, luggage, magazines, toys, worn bedding, and churches just waiting to be eliminated. With the editing process, you want to get as much out as quickly as possible to help change the energy of the space. Put objects you're unsure about aside for the time being and don't let them derail the clean-out. As you see the space improving, Ms. Catano said, you'll probably have a better understanding about what to do with the trickier things. Balance open and closed storage. The objective of getting organized isn't to hide everything you own, but it does involve finding the right balance between open and closed storage. Utilitarian products can be stored neatly out of sight in closets. drawers, and boxes, which will help more decorative and personal items such as vases, candle holders, pictures, and coffee table books come to the fore in open shelves and surfaces. With less in the room, whatever you leave behind rises to the surface, said Vicente Wolf, an interior designer in New York. It makes your objects look more important rather than just looking like a lot of stuff. If you collect ceramic bowls, vintage toys, African masks, seashells, or anything else, group those objects together for maximum impact. Rather than having them all over the house, put them all in one place, he said. Create settings that your eye can rest on. Map objects to their functions. When you put things away, remember that you'll eventually want to use them again, and if you store things close to where you use them, it will make performing daily tasks a little easier. Keep toiletries you use every day together on a medicine cabinet shelf that's easy to reach rather than scattered in different vanity drawers. Put board games close to the table where you play them, magazines by the reading lamp, and pots and pans directly beside the stove. The experience should be graceful, intuitive, and easy. When you go to use things, the experience should be graceful, intuitive, and easy when you go to use things, Ms. Catano said. She even likes to set up coffee and tea stations for her clients, where everything required for making a hot beverage is contained in the single kitchen cabinet, so no rummaging through the pantry for tea bags or sweetener is required. Manage the daily onslaught. Almost every day, our homes are inundated with packages, bills, shoes, jackets, bags, keys, and phones as we come and go. If you don't have a dedicated place to put these things, these invariably end up spread around the home. Try to create spaces to catch these items every time you walk in the door. Installing a small wall shelf or console provides a landing pad for your mail, keys, and wallet. That way, you never have to think about them, Miss Catano said, because they are always by the door, rather than lost between the sofa cushions. Wall hooks or a coat tree can hold the outerwear that might otherwise be thrown onto benches and chairs. Ms. Catano also likes to designate an in and out spot for packages, a place that can hold boxes until you have time to deal with them. Have one shelf that's always available, she said, near the entry or in the coat closet. Feel-good lighting ideas. How a room is illuminated can have a significant impact on your mood. Watch the color temperature. For warm, soothing light with a golden glow, look for fixtures and bulbs that offer a color temperature of 2700 to 3000 Kelvin. Any higher, and the light will begin to look bluish white, good for an office or warehouse, but rarely desirable at home. In the age of LEDs, however, not all light sources advertised as 2700 Kelvin are equal. Some may appear more yellow than others. Some may hold a constant color or temperature as they are dimmed, while others will get warmer like a traditional incandescent bulb. Read specifications and packaging carefully and test the different fixtures and bulbs together in the rooms where you plan to use them. Do all the color temperatures work together and dim together? That's very important, said Francis Dan, the founder of D'Apostrophe Design in New York. If one fixture gives off a golden glow while another provides bluish white light, the overall look will be unsettling. Even though they may come from different manufacturers, the goal is to have all the fixtures appear as though they are on the same team. If you need one lamp to appear slightly warmer, Mr. Wolf said, try installing a lampshade with a gold lining. Layer the light. Don't expect a single light fixture on the ceiling to create an environment that feels welcoming. Designers typically install many different types of lighting at three key levels, with ceiling lamps, table lamps, and floor lamps to highlight different parts of a room while offering pleasing ambient light that can be adjusted for different functions and times of the day and times of day. Layers of light are very important, so there are different focal points, said Grant K. Gibson, an interior designer in San Francisco. I have overheard the lighting in my house. I have overhead the lighting in my house, but I tend not to use it at night, as it can feel like a classroom. I turn on a floor lamp and a table lamp and add candles. That softens the room and makes the space feel calmer. Mr. Gibson also has picture lights above key artworks, which not only highlight some of his favorite things, but also offer a warm, nightlight style glow. Think of the room as a stage, Mr. Wolf said. There are things you want to accentuate and other areas that you want to fade away, depending on the time of day and your activities. Resist the impulse to indiscriminately flood a room with light unless you're doing the house cleaning, he said, because everything just gets washed out and it's certainly not flattering. Take control. Interior designers frequently recommend having every light fixture on a dimmer so that light levels can be adjusted to perfection. While that advice may not be as critical for small and low-powered lights, such as picture lights, having the primary lights in a room on dimmers can be a big help when trying to achieve your desired mood. In most cases, the function can be added to hardwired fixtures by replacing standard wall switches with in-wall dimmers. It can also be added to freestanding lamps with a dimmer on the cord or a plug-in adapter at the outlet. For more advanced control, consider wireless smart dimmers or bulbs such as Lutron Cassetta and Philips Hue, which can be controlled from a smartphone. One of the primary advantages of a smart lighting system is that it allows you to create different scenes where numerous light fixtures in a room can be dimmed to predetermined levels with a single tap. You have the option of putting multiple functions into one switch, Mr. Dan said, which can make life a tiny bit easier. Manage the sun. Sunlight helps almost any room look its best, but it's possible to have too much of a good thing. Direct natural light pouring through windows can be almost blinding, while also fading artwork and textiles. And if the windows look out to neighboring apartments or homes, uncovered windows may make your space feel uncomfortably exposed. To control natural light levels, designers frequently install two layers of window coverings over each opening. A light layer, such as a solar shade or sheer fabric, to filter sunlight and provide a degree of privacy, and a heavier layer, often with a blackout material or lining, which can make the room truly dark. Mr. Wolf frequently uses Roman shades. I like them sharp-edged and clean, with a gauze fabric that cuts the harsh sun, he said. You can still enjoy the light without it overwhelming the room. Then, in rooms where absolute darkness is required, like bedrooms, he adds blackout roller shades behind the Roman shade. This strategy can also be reversed by installing drapes with a blackout lining on a track or rod in front of the window, and adding a light filtering shade with a window frame behind them. Welcoming wall finishes. Choose subtle colors and textures over electric hues and eye-catching patterns. Use light paint colors. Personal preference always comes into play when choosing paint colors, but for the primary spaces of a serene home, a good rule of thumb is to choose subdued colors that don't cry out for attention.